They called it the unbreakable evolution, a changing of the guard that was supposed to usher in a new era of efficiency and torque density for the American truck market. But what is currently unfolding inside the engine bays of over 100,000 vehicles is not an evolution. It is a catastrophic metallurgical failure that threatens to erase 50 years of brand equity in a single fiscal quarter. You are looking at a $10 billion mistake, a mistake measured in microns, hidden inside the crankcase, and paid for by you. This is not just a recall. This is a forensic dismantling of the V35A FTS engine disaster. If you value your financial solvency and the safety of your family on the interstate, you need to understand exactly what is happening inside the San Antonio assembly plant, why the NHTSA is involved, and why your engine might already be dead while you are driving it. Subscribe right now. Consider this button your insurance policy against corporate negligence. We are digging into the SEC filings, the engineering schematics, and the raw metal to tell you the truth that the marketing brochures are desperate to hide. Let's begin. To understand the gravity of this situation, we have to look at the architecture of the gamble. For 2 decades, the Toyota Tundra relied on the UR Series V8. It was inefficient, it was heavy, and it was virtually indestructible. It was an engine built with massive tolerances, designed to run on neglected oil and abuse. But federal TAFE standards and the EPA's tightening grip forced a change. Enter the V35A FTS, a 3.4-liter twin-turbocharged V6 hybrid marvel. On paper, it is a masterpiece of thermal efficiency. It utilizes D4S dual injection, electronic wastegate control, and a laser-clad valve seat manufacturing process. It produces 437 horsepower and 583 pound-feet of torque in the iForce Max configuration. But there is a ghost in the machine, a fatal flaw introduced not by design, but by the manufacturing process itself. We are talking about machining debris. Specifically, microscopic ferrous metal shavings left inside the engine block during the boring and honing process at the Toyota Motor Manufacturing Alabama and Japan plants. These aren't just dust particles. These are razor-sharp shards of steel, some measuring less than 0.5 millimeters, trapped in the oil galleys and the crankshaft oil passages. When you start this engine, that 0W20 low-viscosity oil picks up these shards and turns your lubrication system into a sandblaster. The destination? The number 1 and number 4 main bearings. In an internal combustion engine, the main bearings support the crankshaft. They rely on a hydrodynamic wedge of oil, a film thinner than a human hair, to prevent the rotating crankshaft from touching the stationary engine block. This is governed by SAE J835 engineering standards for bearing clearance. When that clearance is invaded by machining debris, the hydrodynamic film collapses. Metal touches metal. Friction spikes instantaneously. The temperature at the bearing journal exceeds 500 degrees Fahrenheit in milliseconds. The bearing shell friction welds itself to the crankshaft, and the engine seizes instantaneously. No warning lights, no check engine code until it is too late. You are doing 70 miles per hour on the I-10 freeway, towing a 5,000-pound trailer properly rated under SAE J2807 compliance, and your rear wheels lock up because the crankshaft has physically fused to the block. This is the nightmare scenario outlined in the NHTSA recall query RQ24009. But why is this happening now? The V35A has been in the Lexus LS500 since 2017. Why are the Tundras dying? The answer lies in the load. The bearing load profiles in a 6,000-pound truck towing a load are exponentially higher than in a luxury sedan. The stress on the main caps is immense. When you combine high load, low RPM, and high boost pressure, a condition known as low-speed pre-ignition or LSPI, the pressures inside the cylinder can exceed 100 bar. The oil film is already stressed to its limit. Add a single flake of machining debris and the system fails catastrophically. The recall affects Tundras and Lexus LX 600s manufactured between specific dates in 2022 and 2023. We are talking about nearly 102,000 vehicles. Toyota has admitted in filings related to Safety Recall 24V381 that machining debris may not have been cleared from the engine during manufacturing.
This is an unprecedented admission of quality control failure for a company that invented the Toyota production system. The fix? There is no fix. You cannot flush this debris out. It is embedded in the oil passages. It is hiding in the crevices of the block, waiting to dislodge. The only remedy is a total engine replacement. A short block replacement isn't enough, because the debris could be in the cylinder heads or the turbochargers. We are looking at a complete long block assembly swap. The cost? A V35A long block retails for approximately $18,000. Add roughly 20 to 30 hours of labor at a dealership labor rate of $180 per hour. You are looking at a repair bill of $25,000 to $30,000 per truck. Multiply that by 100,000 units. That is a $3 billion liability in parts and labor alone. That does not include the logistics, the loaner cars, the brand damage, or the class action lawsuits piling up in federal courts like Albright v. Toyota Motor Sales USA Inc. This is a financial bleeding event that will impact Toyota's bottom line for years. And it gets worse. The Tundra uses a specific hybrid bearing material designed for start-stop technology. These bearings are softer to accommodate the constant restart cycles of the hybrid system. This softness makes them more susceptible to embedding debris. It is a cruel irony.
The technology designed to save fuel is making the engine more vulnerable to the manufacturing defect that kills it. We also need to talk about the wastegate actuators. In the early models, the electronic wastegates were failing, causing the turbos to overboost or underboost. While separate from the bearing failure, it contributes to the narrative of a rushed production cycle. The pressure to get this truck to market to compete with the Ford F-150 PowerBoost and the Ram 1500 was immense. Did Toyota cut corners on the engine line cleaning process to meet volume targets? The evidence suggests yes. The debris found in the oil pans of failed engines is consistent with the milling process used to finish the block casting. This is not a design flaw, it is a process flaw. It is a failure of the Jidoka principle, automation with a human touch. The sensors missed it, the inspectors missed it, and now owners are paying the price. Let's look at the legal landscape. The Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act protects American consumers from defective products, but enforcement is a long, painful road. Dealers are reportedly denying warranty claims if they find evidence of abuse, which is a subjective term often used to avoid paying out on five-figure repairs. If you have modified your truck, lift kits, bigger tires, ECU tunes, they will try to pin the bearing failure on you. You need to be armed with the facts. The bearing failure is documented to occur in completely stock vehicles. It is independent of user behavior. It is a latent defect present at the moment of assembly. Do not let them gaslight you. The financial implications for Toyota Motor North America are staggering. Their warranty reserves, the money set aside to pay for repairs, will need to be tripled. This impacts the stock price, TM, trading on the New York Stock Exchange. Institutional investors are watching this recall closely. If the remedy fails, if the replacement engines also have debris, we are looking at a buyback scenario reminiscent of the Volkswagen Dieselgate scandal, albeit for mechanical rather than emissions reasons. A buyback of this magnitude would cost upwards of $6 billion, but the real cost is trust. The Toyota Tundra owner is a loyalist. They buy Toyota because they don't want to worry about their truck. They want to turn the key and go to work. That trust has been shattered. Every time a Tundra owner merges onto the highway, they are wondering if today is the day the main bearings let go. They are listening for that telltale knock, the death rattle of a connecting rod vacating the block. This anxiety is quantifiable. It affects resale value. Who wants to buy a used 2022 Tundra knowing it might have a ticking time bomb under the hood? Residual values for the third-generation Tundra are already softening in the wholesale auction lanes at Mannheim and Edesa. This is a direct result of the recall news. So what should you do? If you own a 2022-2024 Tundra or LX600, check your VIN immediately on the NHTSA website. If you are in the recall population, do not ignore it. But more importantly, change your oil now. Do not wait for the 10,000-mile interval recommended by the manual. That interval is designed to lower the cost of ownership metrics for marketing, not to maximize engine longevity. In a brand new engine, the break-in wear metals are highest in the first 1,000 miles. If there is machining debris, you want to get it out of the suspension as fast as possible. Send an oil sample to a lab like Blackstone Laboratories. Ask for a particle count and a spectral analysis. If you see high iron and aluminum levels, you have evidence. Documentation is your shield. Keep every receipt. Record every noise. Because when the service manager tells you that your engine failure is not covered because you towed a boat, you need to slap that oil analysis report on the counter. This is a war for the truth. Toyota is a giant, capable of weathering this storm, but they will only do the right thing if we hold their feet to the fire. This isn't about hating the brand, it's about holding it to the standard it set for itself, the standard of perfection. The V35A FTS was supposed to be the future. Right now, it looks like a tombstone. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and for the love of engineering, change your oil.